The Call of Duty 2025 reveal, it's slowly starting to turn into one of these GTA 6 style things where we have not heard anything, so let the speculation begin. And in fact, that is what this video is about, a speculation as to when the reveal for the next Call of Duty game is going to happen. And this theory that we are going to dive into today, which I'm going to call the Cordis Dia or the Cordis Die theory, all revolves around the story of the Black Ops universe, and that is right up my alley and everything that we go into. And there's actually quite a bit of evidence to go behind this one. That is what we're going to dive into today, but first you have to understand why we are talking about this. You see, traditionally the reveal for a Call of Duty game happens around May, late May into early June. And in fact, last year during the Xbox Direct is when we got the official reveal for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. However, this weekend is when Summer Game Fest is, and some people are guessing we are going to get the reveal for the next Call of Duty game at the same time, specifically on the Sunday, June the 8th, during the Xbox Showcase or Xbox Direct. However, this year, the emphasis is not on a Call of Duty game, but rather on the Outer Worlds 2. So, if you ask me, that is not when we're going to be getting the next Call of Duty reveal. So the question is, if it's not then, when is it going to be? And that is where this theory comes in. So the very first thing that you have to understand is going back to Black Ops 2, because the one leak that has been remaining true from the very beginning about Call of Duty 2025 is that this game coming out this year is supposed to be a sequel to Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, the interesting thing about Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is it takes place this year. It takes place in 2025. So the events that are going on in that game are this time period right now. Now, there's a couple of dates throughout the game that remain incredibly important, but one stands above all the rest, and that is Judgment Day or Freedom Day, depending on who you look at.
Cortis Dia! Cortis Dia! Cortis Dia! Cortis Dia!
Now, in case you don't know, what Cordis Dia is a movement founded by Raul Menendez, a narco-terrorist who founded this movement on June 22nd, 2014, and amassed over 2 billion followers up until the year 2025. This movement wasn't just a small thing, and it was based around overthrowing massive governments like China and the United States as a way to bolster up impoverished countries. This hatred for these larger countries stemmed from his childhood, as his father was indeed also a drug runner, but his sister was essentially burned by an American as a child. Now, this movement essentially ends up being the bad guy and the army that is created by Raul Menendez within Black Ops 2. And what you may not know about that game is there's like 4 missions that all take place on one day and one day alone. And that is where this comes into play. Judgment Day, aka Freedom Day.
Menendez is going to attack America and China, taking out both superpowers at the same time. All those files have the same prefix, 61961. 619. Oh my God, June 19th. That's tomorrow.
Junio 19. Freedom Day. The abolition of slavery.
Son of a bitch. Give me breaks, Admiral. This cyber attack is 619 tomorrow.
We have to move on Yemen right away.
619, aka June 19th, 2025. Now, here's the weird thing about that day is we actually know a little bit more about this because we know what is currently going on within Black Ops 6. So this week on June the 5th, we have the John Wick or the Ballerina event going on. After that, on June the 12th, 7 days later, 1 week after, we have the Rivals event. That is the Stitch versus Adler event. Now, it is not until 2 weeks after that that we have something else scheduled, which is planned to be potentially Season 4 Reloaded on June 26th. However, 7 days after the 12th, there is nothing. There is no events scheduled for that week. Guess what day that is? That is June 19th, 2025, aka Freedom Day. Now, as the story of Black Ops 2 continues, what ends up happening is Raul Menendez ends up getting captured on June the 19th. But as it turns out, that is exactly what he wanted to happen, because at this point, he takes over the entire fleet of the American drones and sends an attack in on Los Angeles. Now, this attack is essentially disguised as an attempt to take out the US president, but really, it's just more of a show of power and what Raul Menendez can actually do. Now, on June the 19th, two things can potentially happen depending on the ending of Black Ops 2. Number one, you can capture Raul Menendez.
I will see you 1 year from now. Study Ulysses. Be ready.
No. He's just a sad old man talking to himself. Let him talk.
However, there is another option, and the other option is not leaving Raul Menendez alive.
Murder me for Cordis Dia.
Now, when you do this, Raul Menendez becomes a martyr for the Cortis Dia movement. So when that happens, the very next day, on June 20th, 2025, this video is uploaded to the internet.
This video is triggered to play upon my assassination. Cordis Dia, you know how to proceed. My death will shine light upon ubiquitous darkness.
So again, we have a empty week on June the 19th. Also, that would mean June the 20th when that video goes up. But we have more than this, because in the game files as of last night, Reality UK did some digging into the Season 4 files, and he found one specific line of code that said SAT Decor Event Coin 01. Now, why is that important? Well, SAT, S-A-T, is the code for the files revolving around the next Call of Duty game, because Black Ops 7, if we are calling that, if we can even call it that, we'll get to that in a minute, is codenamed Project Saturn, aka the prefix SAT. So there's a code within the Season 4 files for an event revolving around Project Saturn. But on top of that, one thing you may not know about Cordis Dia or Cordis Die is they have a YouTube channel. And in fact, this YouTube channel is run by Activision and by Treyarch. It was created in the year 2012. If we go to more info about this channel, they joined on June 27th, 2012, and they only have one video. And by the way, this is the official Cordis Dia channel. This is run by Activision, owned by Call of Duty, and they have one video. And
Come,
it's
my
this.
friends. 'Tis not too late to seek a newer world.
To seek a newer world. This was uploaded to YouTube 12 years ago on July 9th, 2012, before the launch of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Just to be clear, this channel still exists. It is still owned by Activision, and I truly believe if we get something on June the 19th or even June the 20th, it is going to be on here. So there is a slight problem when it comes to this. If the story is going to revolve around Raul Menendez and Cordis Dia, the voice actor for Raul Menendez died on December 24th, 2023 after a short battle with cancer. So unfortunately, he wouldn't be able to come back to voice act. However, they could do things like AI that might make people mad, or bring in a new voice actor, or maybe they go with the canon ending of Raul Menendez dying in the year 2025 on June 19th, and they go with that side of the story. And then to the Cordis Dia YouTube channel, they upload something like this.
Opulence is sinful, and we all pay for it. Los Angeles was the flagship of their absurd materialism. So so I destroyed it. They thought I wanted to kill the president. Doña Presidente, I could have buried you 1,000,000 times over. No. I wanted you to see it. To feel what it's like. Today, 2 billion people exist in abject misery, tyrannized by war. Doña Presidente, your war machines are no more. Your military is crippled. You cannot stop us now. Cordis Die. Rise and strike while they are down. Strike now and strike deep.
So then they could do something with Pantheon and Cordis Dia being the main bad guy moving forward into this game. And just to be clear, it has not been leaked or stated anywhere that the name of this game is Black Ops 7, nor is it been stated that this is a Call of Duty that is a Black Ops game whatsoever. It's just developed by Treyarch. So we could potentially have a game by the name of Call of Duty Cordis Dia or something along those lines, which by the way would translate to Call of Duty Judgment Day, which I think sounds awesome. But if you'd like to see me dive a little bit deeper into the idea that this might not be a Black Ops game, show me by hitting that like button, letting me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, because moving in to the next year, we're going to be diving into even more story with all the Call of Duty games, especially the new ones. So pay attention to June the 19th and June 20th moving forward. Will we receive something those days? I don't know, but it certainly has some evidence behind it.
We are